Hey, I'm here to show you the assembly of one of these internally sprung irising mechanism Christmas boxes. So you can see what we're going for is one that does like that and closes like that. We're not going to be assembling this size. We're actually going to be assembling the tall version of this for gift cards, but they all work about the same. You'll need some different tools depending on your print quality. I tend to need some sandpaper. I've got 120 and 60 grit sitting here. You will definitely need super glue, regardless of your print quality settings. And I use having a knife, pair of pliers, always useful. Definitely want some paper towel because anytime you work with super glue, there is the possibility of making a mistake and not being able to clean it up fast enough. Important note: if you are using, if you use hairspray or glue, I would recommend for your print. I would recommend cleaning that off. Water, soap is fine. But make sure not to leave your print wet. The reason for that is that most super glues are cyanocrylate glues, which means that they cure in the presence of moisture. They suck moisture out of the air to cure. That's normally a fastish but mostly slow process that gives you a minute or two to be able to put things together. If your print is wet, it will cure nearly instantly, and that is not useful for what we're trying to do. Okay, so I've gone through and I've kind of cleaned up my prints, whatever process you use for that, knife, scrape them, whatever you normally do for prints. So we're gonna go ahead and start with the iris sleeves and the top ribbons. So I'm just gonna first I'm gonna check to make sure we've got a good fit. Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and take my glue and I would also recommend making sure that the super glue bottle you grab is not mostly empty. I'm probably gonna have to stop this video partway through because I didn't do that. So yeah, and I've put a little bit too much on here. So I'm gonna wipe it up here with this, and that's probably, honestly, what I've left behind is about what I wanted to start with. Give it a bit of a dab on this, but really not much. You don't want to get glue where you don't want it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put that in and push it down. Super glue has a tendency to leave little white. It's a thermal curing, so it gets hotter as it cures, so it itself is white when it cures, and then it also can cause heat, enough heat to whiten some materials. I know laminates on tables tend to do that. Don't know exactly what the action is for prints, but sometimes when you get an ooze out of here, you'll have a nasty white line there, so really go light on the super glue. Yeah, we'll just do another here, and I'm probably going to have to go grab some super glue afterwards. This bottle is closer to out than I would like. Sorry, this is my first time doing one of these vertical cams, so I'm going to do my best not to do stuff off camera, but bear with me. I apologize if I do. I'm going to try to talk it through, so if I mistakenly don't let y'all see, hopefully you can figure it out from what I say. Okay, and there's another one of these. That was a much better one. And you do want to push this all the way to the end here. Yes, it will stick out a little bit farther. We're going to sand that down. Once we're done, it gives the mechanism a better look when you sand the parts together. If you don't like that, you can modify the Fusion file. Go for it. The thing's a beast. To allow for shorter. I think I added tolerances around the ribbon. Those would be what you would modify if you wanted to not have those tolerances that cause the ribbon to stick out a little bit beyond. I recommend leaving them. Okay. And there's another one. Man, Prusa's printers do not mess around when it comes to print quality. That is nice. So You guys can tell me in the comments of this video or in the comments of the printables if in future I should cut these videos or leave everything in. Probably going to get a mixed comments of, no, please cut it. No, don't cut it. I need it every second. So that'll be real helpful for me to figure out which one is best. I'll basically take a poll by the comments to see if in future I should clean things up. Man, I am always amazed at the tolerances that I can get out of this stuff. Most of the time when I'm looking at tolerances like this, I'm talking about machining it with a CNC. Unfortunately, CNCs are a little harder to come by than printers. Still not easy to come by, but harder to come by CNCs are. If I can use the English language properly. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and also check right here. What are these looking like on the slip tolerance on this? That honestly feels pretty good as is. And man, that surface is way smoother. Okay, so usually the last time I printed this was on a 0.3 millimeter layer height. So that's why I'm so surprised at how nice these are when you don't do them in 0.3 millimeter layer height. So normally, if yours comes out and doesn't look smooth, I would recommend taking it on the bottom, just doing like this. I'm still gonna do it actually. It's definitely not gonna hurt anything. Just get it nice and smooth there. I don't recommend doing that with the top of the iris. You can see it kind of discolors the print and leaves scratches on it. That's the part of your iris mechanism that is visible. Oh, I just thought about how annoying it might be if y'all can't hear me over the sound of me sanding. I have no idea. We'll see when the video comes out. Hopefully you can hear enough. Okay, so yeah, there's that. Man, yeah, honestly, I don't know if I need to clean that up at all. I'll take a file here and I'll do a little bit of cleaning on it. Wrong side. Just to say that I have, but honestly, it feels pretty smooth. And while human fingers can't do some tolerances, they can definitely do tolerances high enough for this kind of slip fit work. Okay, I probably missed one. This one looks like it was missed. And I guess mostly what I'm doing is knocking off any warts that may have come in the printing process, but I'm really not seeing many. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and the next step is to get your spring and this. The one thing with this version of the model, it is very deep and tall. Getting your hand into it might be a little difficult, but we can work around that. So I'm just gonna take my glue here. I'm gonna put a little bit of a bead. I'm actually going to come right back. I'm going to get a headlamp so that I can see what I'm doing down there. Okay, I've returned and I have a headlamp and a pack of more glue. Okay, let's see here. So yeah, my goal is to put, you want to put a ring around there's a lip on the inside of this that sticks up 1 millimeter. You can kind of see it there in the video, that shiny bit on the edge. You want to put just a bead around the very corner of the box, making sure to stay on top of that lip. Don't need much. This is just to hold the spring. Okay, now there is a point on this spring and has a little divot. Maybe you can see it there. There's a corresponding triangle in the base of this. You want to find that triangle, and as best you can, line up the two pieces. And you can kind of rotate it back and forth. Till you find it. Is that it? There it is. Okay. I think I had to go all the way 359 degrees to find it again. Okay. So yeah, we're going to push that down. Doesn't take much force. Just make sure it's set on all edges and make sure it's on that V are the main things. That should be it for the headlamp. Okay. One thing you might want to have done before this, I know very helpful in a video to tell you what you should have done before I told you to do that. If your print tolerances aren't good enough, you may need to check to make sure that this does indeed fit over that. Looking at the print tolerances that I got, I'm pretty sure it's gonna fit. So yeah, that should be good. We're gonna wait for that to cure fully before we continue. So I think I will go ahead and cut the video here because, I mean, this stuff cures fast, but y'all don't want to sit here for, I actually don't know how long this takes to cure. Anyway, yeah, I'll cut the video here. All right. I think I mentioned before, earlier part of the video, cyanocrylates cure in the presence of moisture. So one trick for curing this faster is to breathe or spit on it. If the end user, your person you're giving this gift to, doesn't care that you're spitting on their gift. But they probably won't care if you breathe into it. Your lungs have a decent amount of moisture that they output in your breath, and so you can cure it a bit faster by doing that. Anyway, coming back from the science lesson, we're going to go ahead and put just a bit of super glue in here. It's more than I've been putting for the irises and stuff because, oh, not that much though. Oh my goodness, I think I need to get rid of this super glue. It's kind of started to cure and it's coming out in large snot globules. Okay. Let me clean that out a little bit. So you've got a little bit of leeway on this stuff because the spring has a interior lip. So if you have a little overflow out of it, that's okay. So we're gonna go ahead and put this in here until we find the pentagon. There it is. And we're just gonna push it down, make sure it sets well. Okay. And I shall return once that is set. One thing you might want to do every now and then, just kind of twitch it a little bit. Make sure that it is not like setting setting your interior to your exterior or the spring to the bottom or anything like that. Maybe just twitch it. You'll break any super glue that might have started to do that. Anyway, we'll come back here in a second. Hey, so I realized I forgot one part of the assembly process, or not as much forgot as decided it wasn't worth it for this one, or not needed. So if you don't like, there is a little bit of stick out over this. I think I mentioned that in the video. If you don't like that, before you stick it all together, just take a piece of sandpaper, take one of your leaves here, and there's that sticky outy bit, and I'm just gonna kind of run it over till it's nice and flush. And you can do the same thing here. Till it's nice and flush. Yeah, so if you prefer those to be nice and flush, just sand them. All right, continuing from there, we're gonna go ahead and stick on this ring here. This is has the follower pins, whereas these are the I don't know what you call them. They're the pin that is the fulcrum for our leaves here. So this is kind of one of the more dangerous parts of the assembly. This lip is small, and we want to put super glue on it and not on the interior. So take your time. Another thing to note, is that these little pins, the tiny, tiny ones here on the outer ring, are just for aligning this. So if you go through and you are like, hey, I want to know if this mechanism works. So you put it on, you tension it to where the alignment pins are, you push it down, and you're pulling it off, and it breaks one of them. That's fine. These pins are just for lining this up. They do not serve a mechanical purpose. The glue is what holds this on. So don't freak out if you break one of them. You don't need to reprint the whole thing. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and take our new bottle of super glue that is not spitting out snot. If yours was spitting out snot at the same time mine was, please get another one like I did, even though you are wasting valuable money on, you know, a $5 thing of super glue. Okay, and I'm gonna check when this starts coming out, because this part, you want it really nice and nice, littlest bit you can. Like, I'm just squirting out some and then just like dragging the puddle I've made along. Like, your goal is very, very little glue here. This ring will adhere just fine with not much glue. It doesn't have to take much force either. And it's got a whole big ring worth of surface area to stop it from shearing. And super glue is decently good when it comes to shear forces. That shear's probably the weakest point of super glue, but it's fine. It's really, really not going to be much shear force put on this. Actually, no, it'd be normal force from the peeling that probably is the biggest weakness for super glue. Okay, so you're gonna put this on to where it's there, touching the left edge to these pins, and you're gonna pull it to where it's tensioning until you get back to your pin, and you're gonna pop it down on all of those points. We're gonna check around the lip, make sure it's going on nicely. We're gonna rotate this, make sure it's not sticking like it's not supposed to, and I'm gonna breathe on it. This is the ASMR portion of the video, where you listen to me breathing. I recommend diurnal audio headphones for this portion of the assembly, as it really enhances the overall experience. I'm sure y'all didn't sign up for this while you wanted a manufacturing video. I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to put up with me. Okay, so yeah, now we can test our leaves, see if we did good. So you can kind of grab that. Oh, that is so smooth. Nice. Okay, we've done good. Now, we're gonna go in and we're gonna put, once again, teensy dab of super glue. Sorry, I'm off camera. In the base of each of these holes. Our goal is not to stick this to the leaves, but to stick it to the pins. Okay, so I am actually going to go through and wipe the surface of each of these to make sure I didn't get any outside of it. And I'm going to look inside, and yes, I see super glue in each. So I'm going to go ahead and stick it on, and you can line up each of the bubbles here is what is where the ribbon is. The pins are at the edge of the iris. You can see the edge of the iris mechanism there. So I'm going to push down on that one, that one, that one, that one, and that one at the same time. And then as all good makers should do. I'm going to sit here and hold this because I want it to be perfect, and I don't trust clamps to hold things as well as I can. So I will return when I'm done doing that, and I'll have to turn off the camera with my nose. Okay, wow. Those higher printer tolerances definitely made this way better. Like the last one, you can see it is definitely functional, but it can bind a little bit. It's not perfect. This one is like super smooth. Beautiful. Okay, so the last step we've got. Oh yeah, you can even kind of spin it fast enough to get it to open. It's fun. Okay, so the last step is purely aesthetic. We're just gonna stick these guys on here. So I guess while I do this, I'm gonna talk to y'all. I was very disappointed at the few number of good gift card boxes on Printables or Thingiverse. I resorted to Thingiverse. I was so desperate. So now that I have shown you my solution to this problem, I'm gonna put a little up there. I want to see your solution. I want more things to print for my family. Y'all can't be leaving me sad and boxless on Christmas. That's not okay. The main thing here is don't put it so close that you ruin your beautiful high tolerance box with super gluing. But yeah, y'all let me down this year, and I forgive you because this is a really cool design that I came up with as a result of that. But I am expecting more remixes and makes, and just generally more options for next year. I want cool stuff. Now I'm probably going to keep working on this, so I'll probably have some updates for it, or maybe a newer version. I don't know. There's a lot of cool mechanisms out there to choose from when making boxes, or well, honestly anything. And there's a lot of good papers on how to do them properly. So there's a lot of things that the printing community can add. Oh, yeah, that works. Okay. A lot of things that the printing community can pull from that previously were kind of reserved for universities, people with manufacturing equipment, like CNCs and stuff, which definitely still have their place. Some of the work that I do requires tolerances in the, oh goodness, what was it? 0.01 to 0.001 millimeter range. Sadly, even most SLA processes can't quite touch that level. Most of what I'm doing requires high precision machining work. I'm also pulling a vacuum on the resultant mold, which means that it has to be pretty high strength. So SLA, they've done better recently, but they still have some pretty brittle stuff. So as I said, y'all just wanted a video on how to manufacturing this, and you're going to get a full discourse on my thoughts about the world in large. And there's nothing you can do about it, and I'm not going to apologize. But I am loving how this is turning out. Oh, I have a lot of hair on that. Let me fix that real quick. I thought I cleaned all of these up. Obviously, I missed one. Here we go. Okay. Once you've put glue on something, remember where you put the glue so that you don't accidentally grab it. Pro tip from someone who has stuck their hand to many a project. All right. That looks very nice. All right, and there's that. I might have gone a little too liberal with the glue there, but I think it'll be okay because I've got some sections that have a little bit less, so hopefully it'll ooze out and not up. Oh, and I've got a lot of hair on that one too. I'll clean this up later. I will probably take a heat gun to it put it at very, very high heat and pass it over extremely quickly. You don't want to warp the plastic. Oopsies. Don't want to warp the plastic, that's for sure. But I can probably avoid that. I've found by just passing the heat gun over fast enough, and it only messes with the very long hairs. Okay. Okay. And that's seemingly cured. Mostly cured. We'll find out. Okay. So that's the assembly for one of these boxes. This one turned out even better than my last one. I hope y'all have the same amount of results with your printers. Let me know in the comments if you do. Preferably the comments of printables, not YouTube. That's a little easier to interact with in terms of 3D printing stuff. If you want to comment on the YouTube, just I don't know if I'll get there as quickly as I will with printables. Yeah, I hope y'all's turns out as well as this one did. This one was great. I'm looking forward to giving it to one of my family members. Let's see, will it fit? I believe it will fit the gift card. Perfect. Yeah. I might put some kind of stand so that it doesn't fall over there. But it works. Cool. All right. Happy printing, guys.